This is A View from the Bridge, official podcast of the Belfast Giants for kingdomofthegiants.com. Today's Tuesday, the 24th of January, 2023. My name is Patrick Smith. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You can also download us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM, and a load more of your normal podcast providers. On this week's show, well, the Giants took a commanding lead in Wednesday for the second leg of the Challenge Cup semi-final against Guildford, but it was a mixed weekend overall with defeating Cardiff and a storming comeback win in Nottingham. We'll get to those games shortly. Sam Ruopp is our guest on the fan agenda, fresh from his selection for Team GB. We have a bit of news, and it's another big week for the Belfast Giants, that second leg of the Cup coming. And a little matter of the Sheffield Steelers in town for 2 games this weekend. Mr. McGimsey, how are you doing?
I'm not
having a little gig with yourself.
Somebody's typing a message there. Just made me smile. I've had to. I'm doing all right, Paddy. Actually, what I was looking at today, I was doing the stats earlier on. Week 19, and we generally have about 30 weeks. Like, we're 2/3 away through what's turning into a quite exciting season. Not much room for error anymore, however. So, looking forward to getting tucked into some chat.
I'm delighted to be joined by a man fresh off the plane from New York City, making us all feel a lot very, very jealous. Mr. Kitchen, how are you?
I'm all right, Patrick.
How was the Big Apple?
First time I've ever been, and it was absolutely brilliant. It's a massive, massive city, which I'm sure you're well aware of. But for 4 days there, it's only you only see a small part of it. But I would definitely look to go back again for sure.
A nice bit of ice skating in Central Park on the Woman Rink.
It was brilliant, really, really good. We were told to go to. There's one in Brand Park, which is near
behind the public library.
Yeah, and then there's one at the Rockefeller Centre, which is like an ice cube. So we did the one at Central Park, and it's just different experience. I mean, I've skated out there before in Toronto, in a snowstorm, which was just brilliant. But to do it with Jasmine as well for the first time was something which I'll not forget in a hurry.
One of my favorite places in the world, man. I love it. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Right. We're stuck in.
Before we're stuck in, how's the jet lag since you've been back?
It's no problem at all, mate. Absolutely no issue whatsoever. Just can't sleep. So if I can manage to start sleeping, okay. I went to bed at about 10:15 last night. Just could not get to sleep. And then I realized the Leafs were playing, so I got up and sat up to about 3:20. And by that stage, I still couldn't sleep. So I went to bed at about 3:30, and I just remember waking up at 10:50 for work. But that's it. Like, so, chop. Let's get this over with because I am tired tonight.
And on that note, right, let's get cracking. We're going to get to the games shortly. But obviously, Friday is Pride Night with regards to the Belfast Giants. We're delighted to welcome back to Views from the Bridge, coming to us live from Texas, Laura Small. How you doing?
Hello, I'm great, thanks. How are you guys?
Yeah, doing really well. How's Texas?
Texas is great, but it's currently in a tornado warning right now. So, yay!
That's just because you're there.
Lucky you. So, Friday is Pride Night for the Belfast Giants.
Yes. So Friday we'll be taking part in the league-wide initiative for Pride Weekend, Pride Week even, and we're just finishing off on the Friday with it. It kind of goes hand in hand with our already existing ethos of in the land of the Giants, everyone is equal, but it doesn't help to keep reinforcing these things because there's lots of different things that make people different, not just our religions, our sexuality, our race, our political belief, just loads of different things. So it's important that we keep on just helping people feel included in our sport. Our chosen Pride charity this year will be Cara Friend. Don't know if anybody knows much about Cara Friend. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really. But one of our, well, I'm not sure if it's one or a couple of our own fan base have had help and support from Cara Friend. So when we have something like that, for us, I feel like it's important to give back to a charity that's maybe helped somebody within. So if we can link up with people who have a real meaningful connection to a charity, I think it means even more. So I'm sorry if there's an echo. There's like no walls in here. It's really bizarre. So Cara Friend has been supporting people from the plus community since 1974. And they do lots of different support services, but one of the big things they do is education and school projects, school services. So they go into schools and they work with, I think it's mainly in secondary schools, with secondary schools to educate people and have an anti-bullying campaign.
Wrong in Texas.
I know, Lord. An anti-bullying campaign, because bullying's bullying. It doesn't matter what it's about, but their program does highlight about anti-homophobic bullying, anti-trans bullying. It's helping people understand a bit better, because it is new to a lot of people and they're not sure how to deal with things. So they do a lot of that, and I think that will help people in the future then if they're educated better when they're younger. So they're going to be our charity partner. They're going to have a bridge. They're going to have a table on the bridge, where you'll be able to go and ask some questions if you have any problems for yourself, or you're worried about someone, or if you're a teacher at the game and you'd like them to come and come to your school and give their talk. And we'll be having shirt off the back.
As always, it's going to be a fantastic night. But also, that's not just the only thing going on, Laura. Our partner with Action Cancer is ongoing.
Yes, so Action Cancer are our charity partner for the year, and we're going to be having a bit of a night for them on 4th of February. So Action Cancer is a local-based charity. They are going into their 50th year of providing services in Northern Ireland. I didn't know much about it until actually over the pandemic. I know we always see that, not always, but the Action Cancer shops. Sometimes you might see the big bus if you go to like Balmoral show, but the work they do from their headquarters alone is incredible. It offers so many services. They offer breast screening for people who fall out of the age bracket in the NHS, which I think is 50 to 70. So from 40 to 49 or after 70, if you're worried, or just for good health, you can go and get a breast screening there. They offer health checks. They offer lots of different types of therapeutic services. And they are actually just launched a new skin cancer detection. Skin cancer, particularly melanoma within Northern Ireland, has trebled in the last couple of years. So this is a great service that they offer. They offer it to over 18s who are worried about any kind of changes in moles or lesions. They also work with families from children the age of 5, right whenever someone in your family gets a cancer diagnosis. They're there right from the start, right to the end, and they support the family. The services they do are, my goodness, incredible. They have to raise 4 million a year to be able to provide these services. And they rely on lots of charity partners like ourselves, but Musgrave is a huge charity partner for them, but then also through the shops, through bucket collections, through all different types of fundraising. So we're going to be having a warm-up shirt off the back for them. The shirts look fantastic. That'll be on the 4th. And then we're also going to Action Cancer on Tuesday for some of the boys to have health checks and see about the services firsthand and how they help us. Simon and I have both been for a health check. And it was really good. And they're so lovely. And they just tell you like little things to help improve your cholesterol or your blood pressure. It's not a cancer detection. You don't go to find out if you've got some kind of cancer. That's not what it is. But it's a fantastic service. So we'll be having some activities on the day. So just keep your eyes out on social for some other things that will be happening on the 4th of February.
Paddy, one our Lord just mentioned there, we went probably about 6 months ago now, isn't it? I think we're supposed to go back, but we haven't got around to it. We haven't got a day off yet. Thanks, Steve.
We haven't lost enough weight to go back. Tell the truth.
Well, no, I lost the
How's New York, sis?
New York doesn't help me. But you know, it's definitely well worth it. I mean, it only takes about 15, 20 minutes. And if you do go along, you can get it for free if you want to, but they do appreciate any donation which anybody can put their way. So if you do go along, stick something in the envelope. They'll even give you the envelope themselves. It's definitely well worth it for sure.
It is a case, especially when it comes to cancer detection and cancer prevention, that so many elements of your lifestyle on how healthy you keep yourself will be preventative towards that. And I assume when you go for one of these health checks, they give you the sort of advice as to how to keep yourself in a good way and keep cancer beyond the door.
Yeah, they're really good. They'll give you lots of advice. We also had them in back in November with the boys. They did it during November from Men's Health. So they talked about the major cancers for men, the major cancers for women, and what you can do in your life to try to avoid, well, lessen your chances of getting them. So they'll do that with you at the health check too, and they'll just generally answer any concerns that you have. And they're so lovely and make you feel really at ease. Like they couldn't have been, honestly couldn't speak highly enough of it. That's part of the reason we followed up with them then. Just the wonderful experience that both Simon and I had with them was really great.
Fantastic, and all that's on the 4th of February. So keep an eye out on the 4th of February. One other thing, Laura, as I know, something that you're passionate about is, and it's not necessarily to do with the Giants themselves, but fostering.
Fostering, yes. I know it is a bit not from our normal stuff, but we have a platform, and if we can try and help people, we should try our best. So we just want to give a little mention about fostering. Fostering February is a sort of annual campaign in the fostering network. There are 4,000 children in Northern Ireland in the care system, and right now there is just a massive shortage of foster carers. This leaves kids just kind of bouncing between house to house, like emergency care. What chance do you have to develop properly or get your life back on track if you can't get a permanent, safe, not even permanent, but just a safe and secure place for a while to get a chance at life, really? So I would ask people, if you're in a position, and I know that loads of people are not, and I'm not trying to have a go at anybody, I'm just saying if this is something you've maybe been thinking about, like it's something I've been thinking about, if it's something you've been thinking about, or talking about this has made you think about it, there's so many different organisations that you can go to. There's Kindercare, the Fostering Network, Belfast Trust, Bernardo's. Just obviously a Google search will tell you all these things too, but I just wanted to bring some awareness to it when we have this opportunity. And that's all.
Absolutely. It's so important as well. Like you say, you have that platform and to be able to raise awareness for things like fostering and fostering adoption as well. It's, there are so many children out there who don't get the right start in life or a fair start in life. And there are so many kind people out there who have brought people in for fostering or brought people in for adoption. But it's, if we can raise a bit of awareness to that, it'd be fantastic. Before we let you go, Laura, how's Mitzi?
She's great. Mitzi? She's great. Come here, wee Seki, please. Come here, wee Seki. Mitzi actually had a foster kid. He was Peruvian Dutch.
Peruvian Dutch?
I know.
Wow.
And imagine bringing him to Bangor in 1979. You would have been Come here. Oh, she's got that there and along. Here she comes. Did you hear that?
Nope, missed it.
Come and say hello to the wee people. Yeah, here she comes. Cup of tea and everything. Now come around here, wee Seki. Just say a quick hello. Bet you this morning you bargained for, lads. Just say hello to the wee people.
Hi, Mitzi. How you doing?
People. I'm very well, thank you.
Really good to see you.
There's your answer to your questions. This is Jim's wee office that we're in right now, where he used to do all his work, and we've many hours of conversations about players coming in, players like in a season, just games in general.
And poor Jim didn't know a thing about ice hockey until he met the Giants.
Fantastic. And now his banner hangs from the SSE Arena.
Oh, thank you very much.
You wee critters.
So where are you all? Are you
okay, that'll do us.
Are you all in different places? No.
Oh yes, scattered all over the place, Mitzi.
But, oh Lord, here comes Big John. We've got to cut this. Well,
No,
here
it's
all
fine.
We're
live.
There's Big John coming in now as well. Get the family in.
No, it's just John, Mitzi, and I. But no, he's not coming on.
Okay.
Tornado. Did she tell you? It's tornadoing here.
Okay. You got to cut us off here, lads.
Okay.
Hi, Mitzi.
Listen, Laura, we really appreciate. Thanks, Mitzi. Lovely to have Mitzi on. Really appreciate your time, Laura. And so we've got Pride on Friday. We've got the Action Cancer on the 4th of February. And then obviously we're trying to raise a bit more awareness for fostering as well. Laura, lovely to see you. Enjoy your time out there in Texas.
I'll leave tomorrow. Home in time for the Pride weekend.
Good. Take
Bye,
care.
everybody. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it as always. You guys are the best, bar Simon. Bye.
Fantastic to have Laura on as always, and we'll be posting up more of that on Twitter and the likes. But thanks to Laura for joining us all the way from Texas, and great to see Mitzi as well. Right, boys, let's get stuck into the games. The Belfast Giants last Wednesday undertook some Challenge Cup semi-final action over in the Spectrum in Guildford, where they took on the Flames, and for the first time this season, they took a victory over the Guildford Flames. As I bring up the stats, it was 4-0. Giants goals coming from Goodwin, Conway, Cooper, and Goodwin with his second of the night. Jackson Whistle was nets, 13 shots shutout. And Eamon McAdam, the other side, 22 shots on, 4 goals against. Referees are Tom Perring and Liam Sewell. Davey, it was our first win over Guildford. First win over Guildford of the season. The aspects of this which I found very impressive, not least limiting them to 13 shots in their own barn.
Yeah, look, the games have been tight enough in Guildford, and I was down at one of them myself, and we probably should have taken a win away that night. We came out a wee bit of a slow start that night, as has been the case on certain nights, and we went one down quickly, and then you're uphill chasing the whole time. But there was a lot to like about this game. Defensively, pretty solid. Obviously, coming up with the shutouts tells you we were, but there was a lot of shots blocked. Some nice goals scored, and I just think that it was one of those nice team performances that we've been crying out for a while, and everybody going the same way for 60 minutes, and right to the 60th minute, I think we scored twice in like the last 10 minutes of the game. And when you get 2-0 up and you're in a semi-final, you have a second leg to come at home, you could be, you wouldn't be criticized for like shutting the door and just taking that 2-0 away. But they kept going. They got a couple of power plays later on. A couple of silly plays from the Guildford Flames, especially that with only 5 or 6 seconds to go. Sam Ruopp's gone through 1-on-none, and I think it's Markland takes a dive and sort of whack at him. It's a terrible, you've seen one the other week there. Mark Garside takes a 2-minute slashing call, and that's the equivalent. They get 2-minute penalty for that. For me, it should have been more, but the game goes and it's 4-0, and those things are hopefully jotted down for another day.
Is that the first time they've been shut out this season? I think it is.
Yeah.
So you'd need to ask a stats person about that. I don't
know. But your take on it says, obviously, it's like Davey says, it's been so tight against Guildford, who still sit top of the elite league. To take such a commanding lead back into Wednesday's night game is an incredible positive. Yeah,
well, I mean, again, when you get a gift given to you like the first goal, don't get me wrong, Goody had to do well to finish it off. You've got to take those opportunities. And David touched on it there a minute ago or so, that we have played well when we played Guildford. Unfortunately, just coming out the wrong end of the scoreline every time. But last season I'm pretty sure we went 6-0 against them last year. It's one of those ones where it's we are playing very well at the minute. You get beat against Nottingham. It was a good response to get that win on the Wednesday in Guildford, and to come away with a 4-0 lead. It sort of puts you in a commanding position. However, it's one of those ones where a lot of these guys in this team, on both teams, aren't used to playing 2 games for a value of 1 result. So it's we need to be very, very careful. The first period tomorrow night is absolutely crucial. They've got to come out and they've got to go at us. And with the 4-0 lead, it sort of gives you that little bit of a chance to maybe get something in behind them. But they're capable of getting the result. There's no doubt about that. And just like last week, you talk about guys stepping up, and when you get your captain scoring 2 goals, and Scott Conway, coming up with another marker, and Mark Cooper getting on the board, it's fantastic. You sort of rely on that top line an awful lot this season. And while over the last month or so, Ben Lake has done, taking massive strides to try and take that responsibility away, it was last Wednesday night was just calling out for somebody to let you know what, get on my shoulder. We're going here. We need to get the result. And Jackson coming up massively. Just watching that and seeing the save that he come off with there, it was absolutely outstanding. But it got a little bit niggly just as the hit showed there, the high sticking on Josh Roach, and then you had the slash on Sam Ruopp, which I'm sure we'll go on to chat to Sam about later on. That's a dangerous play. It's a two-hand slap. Am I overreacting and say he could have broke a bone in his ankle? No, I'm not.
No, I don't think so.
2 seconds left.
I'm quite surprised I didn't see anything from Dops.
I don't know if Dops have lost their password for Twitter. I have no idea. But look, do you want people suspended? No, you don't.
Yes.
You don't, David. The big thing about it is this
yes, if it carried over. If it had carried over against us in the second leg, I would have wanted the same suspension. But there's no point. Their next game was against the Cardiff Devils, so what's the point?
This is the point.
I agree with that. Yes.
It's one of the ones where it sometimes it doesn't make sense with regards to the suspensions, even if Dops looked at it and there's nothing done with it, and then the Twitterverse goes nuts over the Giants fans are raging, Guildford fans are laughing, everybody else is just taking Guildford's side. It is what it is. You just you basically get up and get on with it. I think that Sam was hurting for the next couple of games. Yeah, I do. But I've seen him today. Seems all right. And we move on.
Let's have a look at what the reaction was from the coaches.
Disappointed, obviously. 4-0 loss at home in the first leg of the Cup. But the recap of the game, I thought first 9-10 minutes was okay, and then obviously the mistake leads to the first goal, and nobody goes out there to make mistakes. It happens, and then the momentum changed. I felt after that, and I think it just gave Belfast that lift, and then they played on the front foot, and 2-0. You're thinking, okay, it's obviously it's a 6-period game, but then again, just I don't know. It was tough because I never felt tonight we played with that energy that we have been playing with. Whether that's tiredness, fatigue, I don't know. But we certainly didn't look that energetic like we have been in some of these games. And then obviously the accidental high sticking penalty gives them a 4-minute, and then they score again, 4-0. But we have to try and take some positives out of the game. And 4-0, yeah, it is. It's a mountain to climb, but we've just got to go in there and try and do what we've been doing all year and play our game, and hopefully we can capitalise on some chances and get back in the tie. But it's a big ask.
We will certainly take that. We thought more so than the result. I thought the whole process of the game I thought was great from our guys. Everybody bought in, was kind of pulling the rope, and that everybody contributed. We're battling to get pucks out or block shots on the PK, and like I said, everybody from the goalie right out, everybody played a role tonight, and that was nice to see.
Thanks, Lee, for those. The highlights from that game, of course, are from Flames TV, and we'll talk about the second leg later in the show. We go on to the game that took place on Friday night against the Cardiff Devils. The Belfast Giants, I don't know where they came from. Probably stuck around before it didn't fly back, I assume. I assume they just stuck around, went straight to Cardiff for the game on Friday. Unfortunately, it was a 4-1 victory for the Cardiff Devils. Fournier, Britton, Martin and Cox, the empty netter, were the goal scorers for the Devils, with Will Cullen the only goal for the Belfast Giants. Jackson Whistle in net, 24 shots, 3 goals against. And Taron Cozen, 41 shots, 1 goal against. Chris Wells and Stephen Hogarth were your 2 referees. Says all the damage that was done in the first 10 minutes of this game.
Yeah, we can't. And Adams addressed this, and it's you can't keep on giving up 2-3 goals to get games started. And yes, we are a good team, and coming back is something that we've been strong with over the last while, but you just can't keep on giving 2 and 3 goal leads up. That I watched that game back. I didn't get to see the game at the time, and I watched the game back in the hotel. I think it was the next night. But I don't want to say Cardiff bullied us in the first 10 minutes. But Cardiff bullies in the first 10 minutes. That's what it looked like. And, there's some big bodies in that team, and they did what makes them successful. And we just couldn't deal with it in the first 10 minutes. They get 3 goals up. We sort of, again, we woke up, we started to play, and we actually played really well for the rest of the game. I thought we had chances to get back into the game. Obviously, getting the 1 goal back to 3-1. and then giving a goal up, because you're taking chances, getting defensemen to jump up into the play and trying to, move forward again. But it was one of the games where maybe it was just, I think Adam mentioned after the game, maybe fatigue played a little bit, because we played a lot of hockey in the last few weeks. Played Wednesday night again on the road, and the Cardiff Devils are playing very well as well. Don't forget, we pumped them 6 or 8 weeks earlier, 9-3, and they would not have forgot that. Hockey players don't forget stuff like that, so they would have been absolutely buzzing to get on the ice in this game. So was I mindful of it? Yeah. Was I surprised at their start? Not really. Again, it's one of the ones where they just want and they needed to get out and try and put their foot in the throat. And they did that for, as I say, the first 10 minutes. But as the game went on, I thought we got stronger. We just couldn't find the net.
I think the numbers show that as well, Davey. That we fairly outshot them in their own rink. We put a lot of rubber on Cozen, but we just couldn't find a way by him.
Yeah, we left ourselves too big a hill to climb in that first 10 minutes. Thought we came out a little bit back foot. All 3 goals, really. I think defensively as a unit, we've got to be boxing out there a little bit better. All 3 are, first one's from a guy in front, other 2 are greasy rebounds that, we haven't dealt with the secondary scoring opportunity. Fournier has got in there in the first one. And we've just left ourselves too much of a hill to climb. Coach has obviously called a timeout at the third and let the boys know that, a big effort was needed to get back in this game. And to be fair, and as Simon's already mentioned, like, we tilted the ice in that arena in the second period. It's something like 20 shots to 4. And now saying that, okay, Cardiff has gone into a slightly different game plan then, but they were hard on us all night. They didn't give us the neutral zone whatsoever through their forcing long stretch passes all night. Sometimes that weren't on for us, whenever we didn't allow us any sort of control breakout at all. And so it was difficult for us to get anything going. But when we got possession of that puck, like, we put a lot of rubber on Cozen, and perhaps that's something to look at as well. Cozen got a good look at, 18 or 19 of the 20 shots that were coming through on him. Didn't have an awful lot of traffic in front. So little things, it's been talked about for a number of weeks now about slow starts on certain nights is going to catch up. And this was one of those nights where we just left ourselves too much to do. And Cardiff were able to manage the game out. We really dominated that second period and a good bit of the second half of the first period. Third period was a bit more of an even game. And obviously they're able to come up and pop in the empty netter when we've gone all out to try and get that second goal. But one of those for someone that would analyze stats, and if they were just handed that stat sheet and said, tell me what the score of the game is without knowing, it was a win for the Belfast Giants. And unfortunately, it's one of those nights. And it's kind of like there was a couple of games last season that obviously the season ended well for us, but it started in Cardiff with a couple of wins that's still great on me. Like, whatever it is, a year and 3 or 4 months later, 16, 17 months later, those two losses, at the start of the season last year and Cardiff are still bizarre to me how it happened. But look, I think for 50 minutes of that game, we were either better or right in it 5-on-5 with Cardiff. Just that first 10 minutes killed us, and that was just story of the night. There was lots and lots to like, and it's funny to say, there was lots to like about a loss, but we actually played really well. But too much to do after 10 minutes, unfortunately.
Yep, I am muted. Yeah, not going to linger too much on this game. Here comes the thoughts of the coaches.
Yeah, we focused on our start and we got off to a good one. Got the crowd into it right away. They're loud as usual. Getting that goal to go, and just kind of we felt like we took it to them in the first. But then Belfast pushed back in the second pretty hard. I don't know how much puck possession we had, but we bent and. It felt like we got some big saves and we weathered the storm. And the third period was kind of a bit more back and forth, but we obviously had our lead that we wanted to protect. So the guys overall I thought played really well and really satisfied with that win.
Exactly that. The first 10 minutes, I thought we looked hesitant. We were on our heels most of that first 10 minutes. You spot them a 3-goal lead. We started to play there probably from the second period on for real. looked more like ourselves in the second period. We had our chances to bring that game back. We didn't take them, and I thought we looked a little bit fatigued there in the third period, and I thought Cardiff competed hard there to kill that game off.
Sorry, Simon, I cut you off there. What were you going to say? Something?
Can't remember.
Good. Highlights of this game came from Devils TV. We'll have Sam Ruopp coming in just a few minutes, but before we get to him, let's have a quick look at the successful game that took place in Nottingham on I can't remember, Saturday or Sunday. Saturday. It was a 5-3 win for your Belfast Giants, and well, similarly to the night before, we went 3-0 down with Anderson Welchik. Can't do it. Welchka. There we go. I'll do. And Ferrara put in the Nottingham Panthers 3-0 up at home, but the Giants came roaring back soon after that. Mark Cooper with 2, Grant Cooper with the 3rd, Scott Conway with 4th, and then the empty netter for Ben Lake made it 5-3 on the road. Tyler Beskorowany in nets, 35 shots on, 3 goals against. Alex DeBow, the other side, 43 shots on, 4 goals against. And it was the Souls, Liam and Joe, who were the 2 referees. And Davy, 3-0 down again, but a very different outcome.
Yes, just talking about funny Friday night down in Cardiff was at it, and we went 3-0 down, and the girls wanted hot dogs, so took them down at the period break, but Adam Keefe had called his timeout just prior to that. On Saturday night, we went 3-0 down, and I called a timeout of my own and went to the kitchen to make a cup of tea just to get away from the laptop for 5 minutes. And in that time, Mark Cooper got us 1 back, which was great. And from then on, it was like a really strong performance. At 3-2, Besco has made a great save. The Panthers have missed an opportunity as well to make it 4-2, and the Giants have gone down the ice and tied the game up. And from there, we never looked back. It was a pretty strong performance. A lot of really good opportunities on the bow, a lot of great A chances as well. But Tyler Beskorowany had a really, really strong game and nets as well. Good to see that back, because seeing a bit of criticism unwarranted perhaps on Twitter from the weekend before with the loss even though it's a penalty shootout loss. So good for him to get the big W there, 93rd in his Belfast Giants career. So good to see him back between the pipes and winning games again. So Mark Cooper, we were talking to coach on Saturday night about it during the game, and Grant Cooper as well. Real strong plays the net, driving the net, and Simon will come up with the cliches and all. Go to the net and good things happen, and that happened for Grant Cooper. Really strong play from him. Mark Cooper getting in front. Scott Conway going into the 30 area and getting a goal. Just what we're talking about, actually, from what we didn't have perhaps on Friday night down in Cardiff, where Cozen got a lot of rubber on him but nothing in front of him. The guys went to the blue paint and they got rewarded for it, and and then Ben Lake's obviously able to come up short-handed with the empty netter at the end just to seal the victory. But again, lots and lots to like about this performance, apart from the first few minutes of the game and going into the second period. But it's well worth the win, well worth the victory.
I think that's exactly it. So isn't it? We went 3-0 down. We sort of regrouped, and then as the game went on, it just built and built, and we got stronger and stronger. And the 2 goals from Mark Cooper going to the net, Grant Cooper driving the net. It just built and built, and Nottingham had no answer for it.
Look, Mark Cooper, I've seen another tweet because he's mentioned it maybe 2 or 3 times, actually a hell of a lot more times than 2 or 3. Neil Russell has basically said that Mark Cooper's one of the best players in the league. There's no doubt about that. Absolutely none. And he literally dragged us back into this game. When he basically stepped up and got the first goal. And Davey just touched on it there about the save from Beskorowany for it actually, I think it would have made it 4-1, Davey. I think it was Mark Cooper's second goal, wasn't it? The second goal of our game. And here it is here. Well, you just missed it. But, that save from Beskorowany was absolutely outstanding. But if you watch the play from Lewis Hook, he comes down low to pick the puck up, gets a quick out the Mark Cooper from just inside the blue line. But Hookie doesn't stop. Hookie is busting his gut to get down and get a bit of space opened up for him as well. It's a great move by Lewis Hook. And a really quick shot, which caught the bow unawares, and to get it back to 3-2 instead of going 4-1 down, that was our game. That was when we just realized, we've got this here. And when we come out there, Grant Cooper, going straight to the net, getting rewarded, making it 3-3 with 15, 20 seconds left in the second period. And again, when we come back out again, got the goal to go for the go-ahead goal. And if you watch again, there's 3 guys you could throw a blanket over within 6 feet of the front of the net to get that 4th goal. So thoroughly deserved. Bad start, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But again, you've got to give Nottingham a bit of plaudits because they started really well. You know, they've done a couple of games against us this year where they've done that. And I think we went down. It was either 2-0 or 3-0 in one of the games earlier in the season. I tried to come back as well. So that's a big win in Nottingham. It's not an easy place to go. Corey Nielsen's got them playing a bit better. But to come away with those 2 points really could be crucial as this stretch literally starts up again. Because that's only 2 losses in the league now in 14 games, I believe. So, you know, it's I was a wee bit brassed off watching Twitter because I couldn't watch the first period. I was on my way to the airport, and so much negativity from Giants fans who have all of a sudden turned into the best coaches in the world. You know, give the guys a break. They've played a lot of hockey. Get behind them and, you know, spur them on, whether you're sitting at home watching in the webcast or whether you're at the arena. Because, I mean, you could hear the Giants fans at the arena over the top of 6,000 or 5,500 Nottingham fans. So, you know, just get behind them, believe in what they're trying to do, because this team of the Belfast Giants is capable of putting another 10, 12 games running order and getting the wins on the board as well. So they come back and win that game 5-3 with people, you know, getting off on one after 20 minutes. Oh, we're never going to win this because they're 3-0 down. 3-0 down against anybody in this league. If we start clicking, we can win.
Yeah, nobody can be as good an armchair coach as I am, mate. So, you know, let's just leave it at that. But Davy, you know, you mentioned Beskarwani, or sorry, as Nan Green calls him, Beskarwani, which I'm glad to hear again every time he says it. But you know, as you know, Sis said, and I was guilty of it as well. You know, there was a level of criticism leveled at him, but he was coming up strong in this game.
Look, Besco's a big old lad. He's been, yes, of course, he's been playing hockey across the water, but you know, he's been out of the pro game now since whatever April last year. It'll take him just a few. I think Dicko mentioned it on commentary with Simon last week. You know, you still have all your ability, but timing just takes a little bit longer to get going. And you know, he was better this week than he was last week. He'll be better this weekend than he was last weekend. So, you know, he's still the best netminder in this league. He hasn't lost his any ability. It's just timing issues, and that's all coming. That's coming together. So he made some real big saves in that game. And it was 3-2, Simon. We're talking about a different one. Yes, it could have been 4-1, but could also been 4-2. They hit the post. You've seen it scrolling through the
Yep.
And I think Besco gets a little touch on the post. So really big turning points in the game. And you talk about goalies stealing your games. And goalies have to steal games at certain points. And Jackson Whistle did it at times across the weekend. Obviously 4-0, and they didn't have an awful lot of rubber in Guildford, but he has to stop what he has to stop. In Cardiff on Friday night, he was man of the match. And he was actually man of the match by probably quite a distance. You know, I know we talked about the Giants in the second period were outstanding. And the third, it was so tight. He came up with a couple of real monster saves to keep us in it. To keep us at 3-1, to keep us with that belief that we could get back in the game. And Besco's obviously made a couple of big saves at 3-1, 3-0, 3-2, you know, to keep us in that game and keep the belief that the Cooper, Conway, Goody, the other Coopers came in, done well. Laker, Hookie, they're all coming up with big goals at big times, but that can only be if the defense is good and the goaltending's good to give us that opportunity to get back in these games. So, team game, and I think everybody, as Adam said on a couple of interviews, everybody put it in the rope in the same direction. Great to see.
Paddy, do you know one other thing? And again, it doesn't seem like much, but you see the empty net goal. If Hookie had took that shot, if it was a year or two ago, Hookie would have probably took that shot left-handed from the right-hand side, and it's a difficult shot, especially with a couple of guys in between him. But it's the experience of Hookie now, who just took himself, prepared himself, poised himself well, dropped it into a better position for Laker, who was in the center of the ice, and slotted it home. That is a big move, because at that stage I still think there was a minute to go. He's done really well to get to the red line. He could have took a shot from the right side And, it's a tough shot to hit, especially left-handed with a couple of guys in between. So really smart play by Hookie. And Ben Lake just does what Ben Lake does. It's outstanding.
Absolutely. Let's get the thoughts of the coaches.
Ooh, that's a lot to unpack. First off, it was, again, a fantastic crowd. A lot of energy in the building. And to be honest, I thought we played a pretty good game, a pretty fast game, pretty competitive game. I thought, obviously Belfast, I think they're cream of the crop. They're very, very good. Their first line scores every night. And when I came here, I think I said I wasn't promising wins or us to be the best team, but I said it'd be entertaining, and tonight was certainly entertaining. It was up and down. There were goals, some confrontations, which are always good in this game. But being 3-0 up, you would expect to hold it a little better. But to be honest, it's a situation where they get a shot, they get a goal. I mean, it comes into a game where we have in the second period, I think we had maybe five grade A chances that didn't go in the net. I think their third goal, we had an empty net that didn't go in. They come back and score immediately within 5-6 seconds, and that's 4-2. That's game, pretty close to over. But it's situations like that right now that cost us at times, and maybe some decision making. But again, it's a group that's competing hard, working hard, pretty well drilled right now. It's just, I would say Belfast is a team at this stage that knows how to win, and that's something we're still learning.
Yeah, it was a character one, that's for sure. I think, going into tonight's game, I was a little worried just about our fatigue levels, or I thought that we came into the game thinking we could kind of find our way into the game again, and obviously coming here with a big crowd like this and a much improved Nottingham team, we found ourselves behind the 8 ball pretty quick. But we talked about it in the room. Just when you think you're tired, you have a little more, and I think we found that out. In the second period, it was a real gutsy character comeback, and we had some big guys step up on our roster to they carried everybody, and everybody started to push and pull the rope, and everybody fought back, and it was great to see. Like I said, a real character team comeback.
Highlights of that game are available from our friends at Panthers TV. Friends at Panthers TV? Friends at Panthers TV. Davy? Oh, let's move on to the fan agenda brought to you by our actual friends at Belfast Giants TV. A man who's been hanging on the line here for quite a while. We appreciate him waiting. But a man who, in the last 24 hours, has received a call up for Team GB. Please welcome back to your View from the Bridge, Sam Ruopp. How are you doing, mate?
Hello. Wow.
Turn your phone sideways. Oh, there we go.
Is that better?
All good.
Hey, guys. No, thank you for having me on here again. I mean, wow, 2 times in one season. I'm a lucky guy.
Well,
how are you guys doing?
Not have you on with the news in the last 24 hours. Had you been called up for Team GB?
Yes, absolutely. Exciting news, and something that I'm very honored and very proud to be selected by Team GB. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for myself to, showcase what I can do, but also learn and also get to learn or get to know other players as well. So, no, I'm ecstatic.
Obviously, you're in the lineup with the other Giants in Whistle Lake and Hook. But is this something when you came over here that you maybe had in your mind, and an opportunity to play international hockey for Team GB?
Yeah, absolutely. So my mom was born and lived in England until she was 21. So I have my UK passport through her. So it was always something on my mind that one day potentially come over here and play. And getting to represent the United Kingdom and as a whole is something very special, and I know it means a lot to me and to my family as well.
Sam, let's get back to our own domestic action. The Giants, we'll start last Wednesday night. We're down in Guildford. Good footstep towards the final with that 4-0 win. We were talking earlier about the incident with like 5-6 seconds on the clock. I think Morgan's took a two-hand slash at you. Like, first of all, how you feeling after that? That looked like on Friday night it was still hampering you ever so slightly.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm feeling fine now. I'm ready to play, but no, just a bruise, a long way from the heart. But I was actually a little bit heartbroken on that one. I haven't had a breakaway in probably like 10 years, and I break my stick on the play and get injured. So just kind of a tough one, but that's the way it goes. Hopefully next game, I get another chance and I can put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, the stick doesn't break. You're probably getting your chance on a penalty shot there, but these things happen. And we talked there. It's obviously been a bit of a tiring run as well. There's been a few away trips, and there's a lot of games coming thick and fast, and it's not really easing off either.
Yeah, we've been playing a bunch of games here, but no, I think the team has done a really good job of keeping our bodies and minds in good shape, and doing lots of recovery. We're having recovery days at the rink, and getting our proper rest. So no, I think the team is doing what they can to provide us with everything they can to allow us to be the best possible players out there. So no, I mean, I enjoy it. Bring it on, bring all the games you can. Rather be playing hockey than not.
Sam, I know you're good mates with Dicko and a few of the other boys in the room who have got a bit of an accent, but so I'm just trying to prepare you before you go to Team GB. Peter Russell's accent is messed up. You're not going to be able to understand him. So you're going to have to stand beside Ben Lake or Lewis Hook so they can translate to you what he's saying. He's an ex-teammate of mine, so I know that he's very, very hard to understand. But, again, getting that call up, you've got 3 more games now in your schedule, which, again, you just touched on. Any hockey player would rather be playing games and practicing, and especially at your age. You must be really looking forward to the 3 games that are going to happen here in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, yeah, big time. So, no, any chance that I can get onto the ice and within games, every moment is a learning experience and something for me to get better as a player. So, no, I'm looking forward to taking everything that I've learned throughout the years and learned while being a player here under Kiefer and applying it to Team GB and showing them what I can do.
You're obviously now in your second season in Belfast. You've settled in. The fans think you're just top lad, and we all think you're top lad from the podcast as well. But how you find the city in your second year? Obviously, you're not studying anymore, so all you're doing is getting ready to play hockey and enjoying the city. How's your second season going for you?
Yeah, it's been wonderful so far. I mean, last year, yeah, I was pretty tied up with school, so I mean, any extra time I had away from the rink, I was kind of, applying it to my studies. So this year it was kind of a wake up in a sense. Like I didn't know what to do with all my extra time. So no, it's been great though. So getting out into the city and exploring around Northern Ireland is it's a value in itself, and trying to take it all in here because no, it's just extremely beautiful, and no, I'm having a great time this year. The only thing that can match it to next year is getting those 3 trophies. So hopefully we can do that.
Just looking at the 3 you lads here, I feel I didn't get the memo with regards to the uniform. So next time, just let us know, okay? We're going to go to a few questions that are coming in from people watching in live. Campbell Porter, watching all the way from Sydney, Australia, says, has Kiefer talked to you about what to expect and the setup, etc., with regards to Team GB?
Yeah, a little bit. He's kind of prepared me, just for the play itself. Playing against obviously this league is really good, but we're playing against players from all around the world, and so he said to expect it to be a little bit faster, and guys, you make plays a little bit quicker. So been trying to work on that in practice, just snapping the puck around and yeah, just kind of preparing myself that way. So no, like I said, I'm just so happy and honored and really looking forward to it.
We've got Angela, who's congratulates you for the GB selection and asked sort of, Laura says, are you going to prepare differently going into this new challenge, or will you approach it just the same as you do every Giants game?
No, I have a routine that I stick to. So before and after games are played, I do my warm-ups, I do my stretches, and I get what I need to prepare myself for the game and also to get in the proper recovery. So no, I'm going to take everything that I've learned and continue to be myself out there, be the same player that I am, not try to change, and hopefully it works out.
And one more from Shauna saying, how did you feel after the win against Guildford last Wednesday, and how does the team feel? How's it in the room going into tomorrow night's second leg?
Yeah, that the game against Guildford, that felt great. Winning against them and putting ourselves in a really good position come tomorrow. But with that being said, we can't take them lightly. We have to come ready to play. Stick to our process, stick to our structure, and play the way that we do. It will work out in our favor.
That's all. Thanks to everybody coming in. Thanks for all the questions coming in from people watching in live. Davy?
Mute.
Oh, mute. You're on mute, Davy. At least it wasn't just me this week.
It's 2020 again. Twice you're on mute. We've had a quick chat there about the cup semi-final. We're always very superstitious in hockey, not to go beyond the next game, but obviously a massive weekend. We can sort of split this because it's cup and league. Massive weekend and league action coming up. We've got Sheffield Steelers coming into town, and they have been good this season.
Yeah, they have been really good. Another strong team. I mean, looking at the standings, it's crazy how tight it is. So every game from this point on is it's playoffs for us, and we have to take each game one at a time. And so looking forward to tomorrow. But once that's done, we got to get prepared for Sheffield, because it's going to be a really good couple of games against them, and it can really make a difference in the standings. So we know how important these games are, and we're doing our best to prepare for them.
And before I don't know if you've got a question, Sam, but before we let you do that, Sam, I'm just going to give an example. Simon mentioned earlier Pete Russell's accent. Let's see how well you do with this.
Got to worry about this tournament first, and worry about tomorrow first before we start thinking too far ahead. But our goal and our outcome is to gain qualification. That's the ultimate goal for us right now.
This tournament's been played in the Olympic Stadium in Cortina, where the games were held back in 1956.
These surroundings with a history on it is, maybe when I was 26, 27, I wouldn't have thought about it being here, but when you're a little bit older and you see the rink.
That's Pete Russell from back in the qualification in Cortina in 2016. How'd you do with that, Sam?
Better than I expected, but wow, what a strong accent. So that's when I'm out there on the ice, I'm really going to have to pay extra attention. So that's grand.
You know him well, Simon.
I do know he's a really good guy, really, really good guy, and he's done an unbelievable job in difficult circumstances. Obviously, coming the whole way through the pandemic as well, and getting into the top tier for ultimately 3 years. With the way the pandemic worked out, but the GB for obviously the next couple of games aren't for World Championships, which they're starting in May. But it's about the preparation. During the season, they very, very seldom get the opportunity to meet up and try and work out. And I've seen some negativity about people saying about bring our younger guys into a team, but you know what? I am all for women. People just want to win. Guys just want to win. Pete's not going to be any different. He'll want guys to put the best team together, and obviously Sam's one of the best defensemen in the league this year again. So he'll want to basically add to that, and it's not just Sam's been at it. Cam Crystal's in there, Nathaniel Albert's in there. There's a couple of others as well. So it's a really strong lineup that they're putting together and putting I think there's 31 guys in that were announced yesterday. So, best of luck to Team GB in the next few weeks and obviously leading down the road into the World Championships, because they've got a big opportunity here to get back up again.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So before I let you go, Sam, we got the game tomorrow and the 2 games at the weekend. How's your preparation? How's the atmosphere in the room?
Yeah, it's really good. So the guys obviously back on the last weekend, a lot of hockey was being played. So it's nice to be back home in Belfast and get some proper rest. And I always say that preparation equals separation. So we're doing what we can, and we're in the room where we're just happy with our position and the Challenge Cup. But we're going to be coming ready to play, because it's not going to be an easy one.
Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us, and we know we kept you waiting there for a while, so we appreciate you hanging on. Congratulations on your selection to Team GB, and good luck in the next week or two and ongoing through the season.
Thank you so much, boys, and thank you for having me here again. And you take care.
Thanks, mate.
See you in the morning, Sam.
Thanks to Sam. Big thanks to Sam for joining us. Really, really appreciate it, and great to have him on Team GB. For those who follow Team GB, like Davy. Right, a bit of news. I'll rattle through this. Interesting weekend for the Clan, who were beaten at home 3-1 by the Nottingham Panthers before taking the points themselves in Sheffield with a 4-2 win in Yorkshire. And tonight, they've taken a 3-2 win over the Cardiff Devils at home. So they seem to be on building up a little bit of form as they build towards playoffs, because I guess that's the only thing they're fighting for at this moment in time. Guildford dropped points themselves to Cardiff before snatching an OT win in Coventry to remain top of the Elite League. A bad weekend for Dundee with losses to the Storm and Fife. The other semi-final of the Cup hasn't even begun yet. The first leg between Fife and Sheffield will face off at the same time as we do on Wednesday night. In DOPS, Mark Lewis of Cardiff was suspended for 3 games after he left the bench in Altrincham to start a fight, but there's no DOPS video of that. And finally, the news, we know Peyton Jones went to Nottingham. In Sheffield, the Steelers released Oscar Ostlund, who had actually been on injured reserve since the start of the season. And from that, they picked up Hayden Levine, their 8th goalkeeper, I believe, of the season. He was released by Manchester earlier in the week. Dundee released Colin Joe. Storm picked up Tyler Barrow from the SPHL. And Cardiff released Rory Herman, who went to Telford in the NIHL as he searched for greater ice time. Bit of a shocker, actually, that win for the Clan tonight, says.
I just looked at it there. I knew it was on, but I wasn't really paying much attention to it because, to be honest, I thought the Devils were going to win it. They're playing decent at the minute, but you know what? Stephen Dixon's getting that group together there, and he would have knew a lot of those guys in Cardiff. So it's those little 1% that Steve and Adam keep talking about, that if you've got a chance to add the information that you have to pass over to your players, and obviously he's done that. But you know what? The Glasgow Clan, John Muse, that goalie, he is good. He is really good. So, I haven't seen the game. I haven't seen anything about it. I haven't watched anything on social media, but I'd be surprised if he's not a big part of that win tonight. And the only problem is it went to overtime. The Cardiff Devils got a point out of it. So, that's a bit of a pain in the ass, but look, it is what it is. And
Davey, 8 goalkeepers for the Sheffield Steelers.
Yeah, to be fair, bit of mischief making there, considering I think 6 of them have never even put the jersey on. But they did announce a few 2-way deals at the start of the season. Guys maybe played a few Challenge Cup games or whatever, but bit of a merry-go-round nets there. Levine's obviously tried and tested goalie with decent numbers, so he gave Greenfield a bit of support there. As I would still expect Greenfield to be starting Friday night Belfast, but see how the weekend goes from there.
Indeed. And speaking of the games this week, the Belfast Giants obviously will play the Guildford Flames on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. at the SSE Arena before hosting the Sheffield Steelers on Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Get yourself down for those. Obviously 4-0 already in the game on Wednesday night, the second leg of the Challenge Cup semi-final. and then those two massive games against Sheffield on Friday and Saturday night. And after a lovely holiday across the Atlantic, Mr. Kitchen has 3 games in the space of 4 days. How you doing, mate?
Ask me on Saturday afternoon. No, like I'm looking forward to it. Again, I've managed to catch up on the 3 games what I've missed last week and watched them all since I came back. And the tomorrow night's the most important one. It's always the next one. So 4-0 up against Guildford. The next goal in this tie is huge. So if we can keep them the longer the game goes on without them scoring, we have a better chance. And I believe that we've certainly got the manpower. We've got the squad to do it. But they'll, Paul Dixon will have these guys up and ready to go. They haven't had a great January after a flying start in the first 3 months or 4 months of the season. So I would say that Guildford will be ready to go tomorrow night.
We had your old mate Gareth Martin on last week. Obviously, he's been doing a great job behind the mic, and it was fascinating to chat with him and about his experiences with the Belfast Giants. But he's been doing a great job beside you.
Brilliant. I really enjoyed doing it with wee Marty, and he's on tomorrow night with me. He's looking forward to coming along tomorrow night. The day or 2 days before a game, he's always texting me to see about injuries and to see what we were talking about and who's the player to watch, and he's right into it, So I enjoyed doing it with him. He has a bit of a laugh doing it with me as well. So I've known me Marty a long time, and it'd be interesting to you know what? I'm trying to, as I did it with Davy when he was here over Christmas, letting guys just go with it and trying to do a play-by-play, because it's not easy. I know I spurt some crap out a lot of the time, if not all the time, but it's not easy. But Deco tried it last weekend, and then he's punching me in the arm trying to get me to take back over again. I'm going, no, you work away there. So Davey did it, Paddy's did it, or sorry, Deco did it, and Marty's tried a wee bit as well. So hopefully down the line.
Davey mentioned that last week, didn't you, Davey? When he walks away and goes, you go on.
You just keep going there. I know what he's angling at. He's angling that at night off. So he is.
No, I'm angling at trying to take a back step, and because I've so much other things to do on a game night now, but being looking after the sponsors with Steve. So it's the partners are really important, and you just want to, even if you're poking your head around the door for a couple of minutes, to say hello, how are you, and thanks for your support. It's important. And the webcast, with the greatest respect, it's all like you guys, it's important for you guys because it's the only way you get to see the games. But if we can find somebody else to do it, I would take a back step at the minute to try and, as you say, even if it's only one game a month, or trying to take one night off a month to try and give it to somebody else to do it, it would be handy. But it's, again, I think I'd probably miss it if the other way around. So we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Those games, as I said, Wednesday night, 7 p.m, the Guildford Flames in the Challenge Cup. We've got Friday night, the Pride night for the Belfast Giants, 7 p.m. And then, of course, Saturday night, 7 p.m. against Sheffield Steelers as well. And if you're not down to the SSE, you should get down to the SSE. But if you can't get down, Mr. Kitchen and his various cohorts will be taking you through the game on Giants TV. Any other business, gentlemen?
I think Laura mentioned all the stuff that I would have mentioned. She
went through quite a bit at the start. It was great.
Obviously, just the one thing, Joel's uncle passing away there. Joel's obviously not here tonight. And massive thanks to Kitty for stepping in, of course.
Absolutely.
But obviously, if Joel's watching or you watch it on catch up, our thoughts with you, big man. Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, we'll start to wrap up the show. The 3 games we've went through. Big thanks to Laura and to Sam Ruopp for coming and joining us. You can get us at AVFTB on Twitter. You can get us on Facebook and various others, kingdomofthegiants.com, and send us an email, podcast@kingdomofthegiants.com. Mr. McJimsey and Mr. Kitchen, good to see you. Thanks for your time and your input to the show. And wherever you are this weekend, we hope you enjoy your hockey. And we'll catch you here next time on A View from the Bridge.